I'm at 912 Main Street in Covington, Kentucky, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. We're going through the rearmost stack, which is in the right side basement, all the way at the rear. And there are other stacks, so I think we'll be close enough to where we won't have to go through the other stacks, but if we need to, there are other access points if it's limited. Sometimes with old lines like this, it'll have like a trap or something where it used to be a downspout or something like that. So we'll take a look at that as we go. You can see this is the stack. It's the back wall of the house. And you can see there's another stack just around right over there. There's also one back behind that closet there in another room. But we're trying to go to this one because it's the furthest in the rear, furthest upstream. That'll give us the opportunity to inspect the most pipe. And so looks like we go through cast iron. And this cast iron does look pretty rough, but I am able to get the camera through. And then it looks like we're going into clay underneath the floor, which would be original. Based off the age of the house, this should all be clay the whole way out. Now, there's some buildup here of some cast iron that would have fallen out of that short section that's left. There's only like a foot or two left of cast iron. And just going to kind of pay attention to the cast iron above ground and see if it's leaking and see if it's, because obviously with it rusting, you never really know what the overall age left in those lines is. And so I'm not 100% sure. This looks like it's coming down. This could come all the way down from the upper level, which there's a bathroom, a toilet, or for this stack there it looks like there would have been like a shower and a sink on the third floor. And then there is a bathroom. This would be the placement for the only stuff I can see is I think that would be the only bathroom that would run through this. And so that little bit of the small section of cast iron there on the vertical is what's causing this to sit here. This is all just rust, and the pipe itself is clay. So there shouldn't be, that junk is not coming from this part of the pipe, the horizontal. And then this Y end to your left there is where the stack comes in that I showed in the beginning of the video. That one looks to be for the kitchen sink, and it may be some other stuff on the top floor. It's kind of hard to tell where all these actually go to. So now we are cutting across to the basement and tying into the main line that would be running out towards the front of the building. And we should see a tie-in from the right here before too long. Okay, we have a connection here from the left. Not really sure what that is. But there is some material here. Maybe we could try to run some water through here in another stack and see how that reacts. Was able to get past it. It just looks like a debris there at about 25 feet. And there's that connection from the right, which will be coming from most likely that stack in that other room I was mentioning. That is the large main stack. I believe there's the main bathroom and the toilet on the third floor, and the main bathroom on the second floor are both directly above that stack coming into that Y there. Another piece of debris here. Looks like a piece of, could be a piece of pipe or something that's Can't really identify it. Maybe we'll be able to see it better on the way back. I didn't see anything missing, but this kind of looks like grease. Kind of seems like a soft material. Looks like I pushed it out of the way. Could be, it's like a chunk of grease or something. So far the line looks good structurally. Haven't seen any catastrophic issues here. Got some very small offsets in the pipe, but that's normal for something this age, and it doesn't seem to be affecting flow at all. But again, we will try to run some water from one of the other main stacks before we pull back. That way we can take a look at it. See, there's a small offset. The water is overtaking it. There was a very, very tiny amount of root intrusion there. So maybe something to take a look at in a few years and see if anything's actually coming in or a little bit of water there. That camera lens is only about a 1/4 inch off the bottom of the pipe. So it's not a lot of, that's not a lot of water. We're going to try to take a better look at that on the way back in case I pulled past something. It's about 7 feet there. Should be getting relatively close to the main. It is getting pretty hard to push in here. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go up and try to run some water into the upstairs lines. I believe I'm off the property, being that I'm out 85 feet. Should be getting really close to the main. But I'm still going to pause the video here. I'm going to go up and turn some water on, and it'll help me, hopefully help the camera get out the rest of the way to the main, which should only be maybe 10 feet or so, based off of what I'm calculating. So yeah, I'm going to pause the video here and go run some water. Okay, I flushed the toilet in the first floor bathroom, and I'm running some water in that sink also. I'm going to see if that can help carry the camera a little bit. I'm not really sure what's causing such a hang up. Maybe I think that right in front of us is the main. Surely. Yes, I can see the opening down in the bottom left-hand corner where it drops into the main, but I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to go verify because I'm not going to make it much more than this. But I just want to verify that we are looking into the main and we can see the flow till the end. So I'm going to pause the video and locate the exact location of the camera. Okay, so we are just off the main, and so what we're looking down into is the main. I'll try to see if it will go another foot or so. You can see better, but I don't think it will, just from all these turns. Yeah. See that spot right there? That's where it comes into the main. You can see how it's dropping down. That is dropping into the main. So we're in good shape. I'm going to go ahead and pull back. We will continue recording. Structurally, it looked like the line was in good shape. We will pull back nice and slow. Try to get a good look at all this. Being that camera lens is only about a half an inch off the bottom of the pipe, you can see that even with the water flowing, it's staying nice and low, which means the water's getting through nice and easy. I'm going to try to get a look. This is where, for some reason, it pulled my camera over to the one side. I want to see why that may be. Looks like it's making a turn, and the water is going out over the side of something. It looks like there may be an obstruction here at 67, 68 feet here in the center. I can't really tell what that is. Trying to knock it out of the way. I'm going to have to go up and turn the water off and see if we can identify that spot. The water's getting around it, so is my camera. It's a pretty small amount of water there. It's pretty hard to identify what that is. I'm going to go pause the video again. I'm going to go, because you can see it clearing up. So I don't know if that's a piece of cast iron. That's what it looks like. It looks like a piece of cast iron that's made its way down the pipe. Maybe from some construction that was done, because all these stacks used to be cast iron and they've been replaced with PVC. So it wouldn't be surprising to find some extra chunks of cast iron here laying in the bottom of the pipe. So anyway, I'm going to pause again and go turn the water off. Okay, so Yeah, this is a piece of cast iron, it looks like, laying in the bottom of the pipe. You can see how clear the water is. But the mirror on the top is actually the water level, and so we are underwater. But there is a piece of something there. So I will obviously make a note of it at 68 feet or so, because it doesn't seem to be like solid buildup or anything around it, but it may be, you know, as we come back, because it's a very small amount of water and you can't see it through past that point. There's no solid buildup on it, and so it doesn't seem to be restricting flow, but it is something to note for the future, just because there's a little bit of water there, and it was forcing my camera kind of up and around it. So doesn't look like it's any kind of an emergency. It's just something to note for future. And then we do have a little bit of roots here at 57 feet. There is a tree out there, and this is what I was mentioning earlier, that it may be something that you just want to note for the future, to kind of maybe check it in 3 to 5 years, just to see if there is any more root intrusion, or how well that stuff's, you know, staying out. Because there's nothing you can do about that little bit that's in there now. It's not big enough to cause any issues, and there's really nothing you can do to service that little tiny bit. I normally wouldn't even call that out. Okay. And we have something here. It looks like from running that water, it knocked it loose. Like that's what I mentioned earlier. Maybe a little chunk of grease or something. So here, this looks like a piece of pipe in the line, just a chunk, and we don't know where that came from. It would have to be upstream from there, obviously. So we're going to try to take a look and see if we see anything there. I haven't seen anything. Again, this could be done, or this could be from a repair. Here we go at 25 feet. This is the largest obstruction I've seen, and I'm not really sure what it is. It looks like a buildup of solids. And so you could get this flushed out. It looks like a buildup of solids. It could be from it sitting empty. It is just past the line coming in here from the left. I don't know how long the house has been empty, but it does just look to be a buildup of solids right there at about 25 feet. I don't see anything wrong with the pipe. It could just be something that hardened from sitting, but that could cause other things to catch on it. It's a pretty big, so you may want to get a cleaning done to try to remove that, probably a jetting, to be able to get that stuff out of there. It doesn't have to be a full jetting that would, you know, for like what they would use for roots or something like that, but just enough to flush those solids out. And it may actually be tied to that other spot. It'll take those that other little piece of pipe out of the line. And we haven't seen anything that would indicate that piece of clay, it would have to be upstream from here, and I haven't seen anything missing in the pipe upstream. So that was most likely from a repair made. where they went through the floor, because I am already vertical and through that short piece of cast iron here that's hanging off the front of the camera there. There's about a foot and a half of cast iron that is causing a lot of that buildup there at the base of the stack, as we talked about when I first went in, and a lot of that just from running this through there. It looks like most of that has been flushed down the line. So here, all the way back. The only thing I found in there was that that bunch up of solids, and that could actually be, like I said, if the house has been sitting empty for a while, that could just be dried up, and that may flush out with regular use. But if there's any concern at all, you could have that jetted out before you move in, just to kind of make sure that that stuff's out of the line. But structurally, the clay all looked in good shape. I didn't see any structural issues, or there's a tiny bit of what looks like the very beginning of root intrusion. So you may want to take a look at that in 3 to 5 years maybe, just to see if those roots are growing. But other than that, the line looked great. So that'll end the inspection at 912 Main Street in Covington, Kentucky.